Welcome, sir.
Yes,
Welcome, Satish, sir.
yes,
Dr. Deepa Mandlik, welcome you all in the AICT sponsored FDP program or Leadership and Excellence. Today
yes.
we have Satish, sir, as our second speaker. So I'll briefly introduce Satish, sir. He is head of Civil Engineering Department, ex-officiating principal, Government Polytechnic, Ausari. He is having 38 years of teaching experience. He is a member of interview panel of various boards of polytechnic and engineering colleges. He has conducted more than 300 training programs, seminar, workshops for polytechnic teacher, students, engineering teachers and students, BBA and MBA students, SSC and HSC students, working civil engineer of PWD irrigation department, practicing civil engineer on soft skill related topic. He is a member of developing planning committee for town planning for AMC, Shirdi, Kopargaon, Devlali, Pravra and municipality. With this brief introduction, I request sirs to start with the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good morning, all.
Good
This is
morning,
Satish
sir.
Kerkar here. Shall we start, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. First of all, I will thank the organizing committee for calling me for delivering a lecture on this particular topic. I am closely associated with Bharati Vidyapeeth Pharmacy College, that is Pune College of Pharmacy, as one of my school friend, Dr.
Sir, just to
Nalawade.
interrupt, can you on your video, uh,
Yes.
your face is not visible, sir.
Okay, okay.
And you can share your slide also.
No, madam, I think we'll continue because I am not that conversant with the system.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Okay, sir. Yeah,
You share your slide.
okay.
Sir, just to the side of mic symbol, there is an arrow for
Yes,
sharing the content. So you can click
yes,
that arrow and you can share the content. Okay, sir.
yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, we'll start with the presentation. Is it visible now?
No, sir, it is not visible.
Yes, now?
No, sir, still not.
Okay.
Sir, you just open your PPT in your computer
Yes,
and
yes, I
then
have
click
opened it.
on the share content, that arrow which is side to the mic. Then once you shared that PPT, you will get a red, what we can say, rectangle over, means it is shared.
Yes, I am not getting that actually.
Just wait for a minute. We will see whether we can share from this side. Just wait, sir. Sir, at the lecture, your PPT was visible actually.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually,
Yeah,
when you said
yeah.
you would make your audio this turn your
Camera
camera
vis.
on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now on my screen I can see it.
That is open on your computer. That's why,
Yeah, yeah.
but it is not shared. So just to wait, we are just sharing from this side.
Okay. Shall I join again?
Sir, it's visible now.
Okay, okay.
Huh. Sir, whenever
So
you want to change the slide, you tell
yeah.
me next slide, please, so that I can move ahead. Okay, sir?
Okay, but that okay, that will be a bit this thing. Okay.
Okay, sir. You can start, sir. No problem.
Hmm. So friends, we'll start with the presentation on stress management. Next slide, please.
अरे, yes, sir.
No, it is better that I will do the presentation myself because it is difficult to synchronize. I will try again. I will just
PPT is shared from this side now, so we can only control the changing of slides. As we have shared screen, that's why the control is in our hand to change. Sir? Sir, are you listening? आता ऍडमिट झाले परत ते बापरे यार कुठं गेला आता. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Is my voice is audible?
yes.
Sir, actually the slides are shared from this side, so only we can control, sir.
Mm, but then okay.
So you just tell that change the slide, we'll change the slide according to your talk.
No, that will be there, but I want to see something from on my screen. No, then only I will be able to talk. Have you gone to the second slide?
Yes, sir. This is the second slide.
Okay. Let's see how it works. Life wants you to win. Please get out of your own way. Robin Sharma. So as the slide shows that life wants that you should win, but who is the hurdle or obstacle is yourself. So one has to see that if you want to progress, then you should not be the obstacle, but you should be able to uh, take you in that right direction. Next slide, please. Yes, I will start with a good thought. Every person you meet has a lesson to teach, a story to tell, a dream to share. Now, here we have got three things: a lesson to teach, a story to tell, and a dream to share. Now, I will share one story here. It is related with the topic of stress management. A teacher from psychology is intended to teach a topic of stress management in the class. So he goes to the class and he takes a glass of water in his hand and asks a simple question, that how much is the weight of this glass? The students filled with glass is filled with water. So the students now what they do is they give the answer like 300 gram, 350 gram, 400 gram, and so on. Now teacher asks a next simple question, that what will happen if I hold this particular glass of water in my hand for 2 minutes? The student said, nothing. You can bear the glass, holding your glass in your hand for 2 minutes. The next question was asked, that what will happen if you will hold the glass for 2 hours? Then naturally the student said that if you hold the glass in your hand for 2 hours, then your hand may get numb, you will feel uneasy, you may feel giddiness, and so on. The next question asked was, what will happen to me if I hold this glass of water for 1 day? The children started laughing and said, if you hold the glass of water in your hand for 1 day, then surely you will faint, you will be required to be taken to the hospital, and you will need a treatment in ICU. He said, very good. Now, my last question. In these three situations, holding the glass for 2 minutes, holding the glass for 2 hours, and holding the glass for whole day, does the weight of glass change? Everybody said no. Then, if the weight of the glass is the same in the three situations, then why the effects are different? Why the results are different? They said because of the time time for which you are holding the glass. Then the last question asked was by the teacher, then what you should do the next? Then everybody was perplexed. They didn't had a clue of what is to be done. Then teacher said that you have to just put the glass down and you will get the solution. If you hold the grudges for longer time, longer period, if you hold a very simple thing for a long time, naturally its long-term effect will be tremendous. So, dear friends, the same is applicable in our life also. If a small grudge is there, a difference of opinion between the colleagues, between our family members, between our friends, between even the unknown person, maybe a co-traveler in a bus or a train or a plane. If you have got some grudge, if you hold the grudge for a longer time, it is bound to have a bad effect. So this is a story which I wanted to share in the this particular thought. Every person you meet has a lesson to teach, a story to tell, and a dream to share. Now, related with the other 2 points, a dream to share and lesson to teach, I will share one of the anecdotes which happened with me. I was working at Government Polytechnic Ratnagiri at that time, and I was traveling from Ratnagiri to Pune by bus. A person, a co-passenger rather, I will say, was sitting next to me. He just asked me, "Sir, where you are going?" I said, "I am from Government Polytechnic Ratnagiri. I am a teacher there, and I am going to Pune. My family is at Pune." I said, "I came via Kokurud, and I have reached Pet Naka, and from them I have taken a bus, and I am going to Pune." Listening to the word Kokurud, he said, "Sir, I am also from Kokurud. Basically, I am from Kokurud. Now I have settled in Mumbai. I studied in the high school at Kokurud in 8th and 9th. I left my school after 9th, and I am now doing some work as a worker in our factory in Mumbai." He said that my dream of studying was left out because I left the school rather. I was a dropout from the school. Now what I did was, my dream was I should be a millionaire, a good person with some nice way of living. So what I did was, my dream, I now have, I am seeing my dream through my son. So I am providing everything to my son. And being in the teaching profession, he suggested that for my son, I am advising him to see the videos on YouTube. And while during the conversation, at the end of our conversation, when I got down at Chandni Chowk, Pune, he said, "Sir, I will advise two things to you. One is your students should read the books on Shivaji Maharaj, Vivekananda, and secondly, you should advise them to see the YouTube videos so that they can learn a lot." Now, the person, he was the school dropout, maybe 8th or 9th. Now, if I start thinking that yes, I am a professor, I am head of the department, I worked as principal, and this fellow is just a 8th or 9th standard pass. Now, what I can learn from him? But no, dear friends, whatever the dream he has seen, whatever the lesson he has given, is every person you meet has a lesson to teach, a story to tell, and a dream to share. So, with this thought, I will now go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Yes. Fact of life: if everyone is happy with you, then surely you have made many compromises in life. If you are happy with everyone, surely you have ignored many faults of others. So, this is a fact of life. To live a stress-free life, to lead a stress-free life, you should follow these two principles. If you are happy, if everyone is happy with you, then surely you have made many compromises in your life. And if you are happy with everyone, surely you have ignored many faults of the others. So you should look at yourself, whether everyone is happy with you or you are happy with everyone. Next slide, please. Now, this is the first slide presentation on the stress management. Next slide, please. Now, in stress management, we will see about the stress. It is a major killer. As you see, people are dying of if they are not able to cope up with the stress. In life, everybody is under stress, and it is a major killer. Where is the origin of the stress? It is in the thoughts. We have some questions like, do you have a stress? It is experienced or managed? You run away from the stress? Next slide, please. Next slide. Now here you see a stress level versus performance curve. Previous slide, please. Yes. Here we see performance versus stress level curve. You see the first part is the green part where too little stress is there, under load. Then the stress goes on being added up. Then we have got a yellow patch, which is the optimum stress. And you know, in yellow patch, optimum stress, if you go on adding the stress further or stress level increases further, then comes the exhaustion. And last is the breakdown, burnout. So here, little stress is essential, in which the performance level goes on increasing. If still there is increase in the stress level, then there is a fatigue. Next is exhaustion, and last is anxiety, panic, or anger, and it is called as a burnout. Now you should be able to manage the stress in the first part or the optimum stress. At the most, it should be in the second part, that is the optimum stress. As far as possible, you should be underloaded so that your performance level will be quite high. Next slide, please. Yes, now this is a universal slide. 1 in 3 adults suffer from hypertension. As the top part of the slide shows, that there are 9 persons, of which 3 are suffering from hypertension. The middle part shows that 1 in 3 adults with hypertension do not know they have a disease. So this is an alarming stage, that 1 in 3 adults with hypertension does not know that they have this disease. And last is the red signal, red alert, that 1 in 3 adults treating their hypertension cannot keep it under 140/90. We know that 180/20 is the ideal blood pressure, but as it is seen that 140/90, 1 in 3 adult is not able to keep the hypertension under the 140/90 mm of the mercury. Next slide, please. Most people experience some previous. Most people experience some degree of stress in their jobs. So in job, there is no job which is stress-free. We have got some degree of stress. Some jobs have got more degree of stress. Some jobs have less degree of stress. Like we say, we are teachers. So in teaching profession, that way, the degree of stress is quite less. But now, as you know that all the teachers are assigned other non-academic works also, and because of that, there is a more stress involved. But if you understand that most common type of stress and know how to spot them, you can manage your stress much better. So there is a stress and you can manage it. This in turn, yes please, this in turn will help previous slide. This in turn will help you to work productively, build better relationship, and live healthier life. Now the last paragraph is most important. Because you have got a stress, if you understand the stress, the type of stress, and if you are able to handle that, then if you handle it properly, then you will be able to do the work efficiently, productivity will increase, relationship will be better, and you will lead a healthier life. Now, next question comes, that simple definition. What is a stress? It is the gap between our expectation and reality. More the gap, more the stress. So expect nothing and accept everything. I will share one sentence from Art of Living, that accept the people and situation as they exist, and you will lead a healthier and happier life. So the gap between expectation and reality. If this gap is less, then naturally you will have a less stress. Next slide, please. Next. Next slide, please. Now, stress. When we say stress, yes, as you see, there are few terms that are related with stress, like it is irritated, depression, overdue bills, fighting, doubt, negativity, agitation, angry, health problem, trouble, death, anger, emotional psychological strain, penniless, lost, job crisis. So all these are the causes of stress. These are the root causes that create a stress in the mind: negativity, doubt, agitation, then relationship problems, getting angry, trouble, death, etc. Next, please. Next slide, please. Symptoms of excess stress. There are a few symptoms which we call as the signs or the warnings. Just press the down key. Yes. First warning or a physical sign which is leading to, next, insomnia, headaches, heartburn, backaches, peptic ulcer, cramps and indigestion. So these are the physical signs which are leading to these are the symptoms of excess stress. Next, and these are the other signs, that is arthritis, glaucoma, multiple sclerosis, stroke, cancer and leukemia. So physical and psychological stress signs are being seen here. Next. First warning of mental sign: lack of concentration, lack of memory, anxiety, irrational fears, quick to cry, quick to anger, and excessive worry. These are the first warning or mental signs. Next. Next slide, please. And that is leading to lack of self-confidence, physical illness, total mental breakdown, and chemical dependencies. So because of the mental problems, it leads to the chemical dependencies also. Next slide. Now there is one term which is related with the stress, and that we say as perception. Perception is simply defined as sensation plus meaning. Now you can see one picture on the screen. If you ask what you see on the screen, most of the people will give the answer that we see a frog there. We see a frog. And if you see it minutely, it is a frog. Next, if you turn that picture through in the next part, we see that it is being turned through 190 degrees. And now if you ask what you see in the bottom part, you see it is a horse. the head of a horse. Now, if you'll observe minutely, in both the pictures, they are one and the same. In the first picture, it is turned, first picture is turned through 90 degrees, and you see, in the first picture, you see it is a frog. In the second picture, you see it is a horse. So, the meaning changes as per the change in your view angle. And the simple definition of perception, as already I've told you, it is the sensation plus meaning. So when we add meaning to what we see, then the perception changes. And that's why we know the people in the organization, they are from different background, different qualifications, and the same thing they perceive in a different manner. And that's why perception varies from person to person. It depends on the meaning which he adds to the sensation. Next slide, please. Now here again you see a picture. If you see the left side picture, previous one, yes. If you see the left side of the picture, as you see there, the shadow part shows a man playing a trumpet. And if you see the white part, just adjacent to the shadow, it is a face of a woman. So if you ask what you see, then there are two answers. One is a man playing a trumpet if you see the black part, and it is a woman, face of a woman if you see the if you see the white part. Again, there is one more picture on the right side. If you see it, observe it minutely. In the first instance, someone say that it is a face of a man. And if you observe it minutely, then you can see it is a woman with a baby in her lap. So this is how the same object being observed by different persons in a different way, and that is what we call as a perception of a person. Same object observed by different persons in a different manner, depending on the meaning they add or depending on the view angle. Next slide, please. Next, yes. Now this is a classical slide in every management training program. Those who are from industry, they will appreciate it. In every management training program, this slide is being used for one or the other reason. Here also, as we can see, if I ask a question to the participants that what you see in the picture, some will give the answer that it is a face of an old lady. If you see the nose of the lady, then her hairs, etc. So one answer is the old lady, and the second answer, if you see it minutely, that it is a young lady looking on the backside. From the backside, the view has been taken. So again, it depends on how you perceive the thing. You can call it as the picture of an old lady, or you can call it as a picture of a young girl. Okay, next slide, please. Yes, again, this is a classic example that if you ask a question that what you see in the picture, then the first answer that will come to the mind is a tree without leaves. But now, if you see it minutely observe it, you can see the faces of the leaders. You can see the face of Mahatma Gandhi at the top. You can see the face of, on the right side, of Jawaharlal Nehru and the other leaders. If you observe minutely, Lokmanya Tilak, Rabindranath Tagore, etc. So, if you ask what you see in the picture is, one answer is it is a tree without leaves, and the second answer is it is the faces of the leaders, patriotic leaders. Okay, next slide, please. Next. Again, this is one classic example of on perception. If you see the white part, then you will observe there are three alphabets T, I, E. So T, I, E is the, if you see the white part on the slide. If you see the black part, then on left side you have got two hands with fingers pointing up. Then you have got something like a balloon in the middle, and on the right side you have got some object. So if you see the white part, you will have the alphabet TIE, tie, and if you see the black part, then it will have different objects, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3 objects. So this is how, these are few examples I have taken on perception. So depending on the person's view, in the same situation, he will draw a different meaning. And now that's why these examples I have purposefully taken to show that in a given situation, some persons have more stress, some persons have less stress, or some persons even don't have even a stress. It all depends on the perception of a person. So that's why these slides have been added here. Okay, next please. Karl Albrecht had classified the 4 common types of stresses. The types of stresses has been classified by Karl Albrecht, and I'm going to share or will see something about this in the next few slides. Next. The first is the time stress. Second is the anticipatory stress. Third is the situational stress. And fourth is the encounter stress. Please go ahead. Time stress, anticipatory stress, situational stress, and the encounter stress. So these are the 4 stresses, 4 types of stresses as classified or as classified by the Karl Albrecht. Now we'll see about them one by one in details in the coming slides. Next slide, please. Next. First is the time stress. As the name suggests, you experience time stress when you worry about time or the lack thereof, like worrying about the deadlines or rushing to avoid being late for the office or the college. Now, you will experience this time stress particularly because we know time is the limited commodity. I will not talk much about this because I have seen the timetable of the program, and in the timetable of the program, they have you have got the next session after lunch. It is on time stress. So I am just hurriedly highlighting few points which are related with the time stress. Yes, next slide, please. Managing time stress, because in the next session we have got a session on time management. So they will be having a different view of expressing related to time management, whereas here I am talking about the time management related with the managing time stress. So first is learn good time management skills. Time management, please wait. First, learn good time management skills. Now, time management skills you are going to study in details in the next session. You should have a to-do list or action program for doing the works, so that you can manage your works properly and you will use your time in an appropriate manner. For that, the first thing that you have to do is prioritize. In a day, you have got lots of works to do, so you should categorize them and prioritize them, and top priority work should be done first. The details will be seen in the next session by some other resource person. Then another important point is you have got what we call as a time important matrix. You should spend your maximum time in the second quadrant of the time urgent important matrix. So that also details will be studied in the next session. Then learn to create more time in a day. Now, how you can learn to create more time in a day? We know our office hours. Say, for example, in my case, our office hours are from 10 to 6 or 9:45 to 6. So, if I come 15 minutes before time, or if I wait for half an hour more, then I can create more time for doing my work in a better way. If you are in a hurry, naturally, the quality of the work will be hampered. Then next is use your prime time. Now, in prime time, your efficiency will be very high. Like I will share today's experience. Just 15 days back or few days back, Dr. Yadav Madam rang me and said, "Sir, you have to conduct one session on stress management for our participants in FDP. What is your preferred day and time?" I said, preferably morning and date, today's date, the Wednesday. So in morning, I feel very relaxed. My energy is very high. And naturally, I will be able to do it in a more efficient manner without any problem. So know your prime time, use it properly. Few people, they are habitual of working in the nights. Like our students particularly, if you say, they will study late night for the next day's examination. And that at that time, no doubt it depends on person to person. It varies from person to person, that they may do it in a more better way. Also, last point is also be polite and assertive about saying no to the task that you don't have the capacity to do. Here, you should be assertive in telling the things. Assertive means you should not be arrogant, but you should be able to tell it you should be able to stress your point that why you are saying no and learn to say no. That is also another very important point, maybe dealt in details in the time management session, because I also conduct sessions on time management. Here just I will add a few lines on learning to say no. There are about 17 ways of learning to say no, and you should learn to say no, because if you are not able to say no if you don't have an art of saying no at appropriate time, you are unnecessarily taking burden on yourself of the things which you are not conversant with, or with which capacity you do not have to do. Next slide, please. Next, yeah. When you say yes to others, make sure that you are not saying no to yourself. If you have a habit of saying yes, sir, always yes, then make sure that you are not saying no to yourself, because you are not conversant with that work, you are not happy while you doing that work, you don't like that work, but still, how can I say no to my boss? How can I say no to the management? Or how can I say no to my family members? Or how can I say no to my friends? In that, you are doing injustice to yourself. So, when you say yes to others, make sure that you are not saying no to yourself. Now, if you don't say yes, or if you say no rather, in that case, for that work, naturally, you will be diverting the stress, which is unnecessarily, which will be there on your mind by saying yes to others. Next slide, please. Next, please. Yes. Second is the anticipatory stress. Anticipatory stress describes back. Anticipatory stress describes stress that you experience concerning the future. A specific event can be a vague and undefined, a sense of dread about the future, or a worry about something will go wrong. Now, if I will give some concrete examples, like particularly with our students, when they are facing an interview, when they are going to face an exam, when they are going to face a practical exam or a oral exam, then they have got this type of stress, which is anticipatory stress. What will happen? How the question paper will be? If it is very difficult, then I will fail. I will not be able to score good marks. If there are few questions which are out of what I have studied, option, which I have kept for option, then I will not be able to score good marks. Or in the interview, I will, if the candidate has got a doubt in his mind that whether I will be able to perform properly or not, whether I will be getting selected or not, then at that time he will have a stress which is called as an anticipatory stress. So always worrying about something will go wrong. I will share one more experience. I was at Government Polytechnic Dhule at that time. One of my colleague, he was always under tension for small things. He was always under stress. I said, yes, what has happened? He said, sir, today I am going to conduct my first session, because he was a newcomer in the polytechnic system. So I am going to conduct my first session. So whether it will be, I will be effective or not, I will be successful or not. So he was under tension. In next few days, he was assigned some admission duties. Again, he was under tension. Sir, I have never done such type of duties, and I will not be able to succeed. So this type of stress, anticipatory stress, it is very dreadful. I will share one more example or incidents of my colleague, my Government Engineering College Pune classmate. He was traveling in the cab from Ahmednagar to Pune for some of his personal work. Near Shirur, suddenly he saw that one dumper from opposite side, from Shirur city, is going to have a head-on collision to the car in which he was traveling. And literally it happened that after a few seconds, there was a dash between the dumper and the car. And my friend, he died on the spot. But when his body was taken for postmortem, to everybody's surprise, doctor came to know that there was not a scar or a scratch on his body. His body was totally intact. Nowhere there was a scar or scratch. But then the postmortem revealed that he died because of the heart attack. So he was so fearful that now I am going to die because of the dash of the dumper and the car. And finally, he, because of the anticipated stress, he could not manage. He died on the spot because of the heart attack, and not the dash or the accident or the because of the injury because of accident. So this is what we say as a anticipatory stress. Particularly in students, we have got an anticipatory stress. The exam fear is there. If they are not studied properly, then there is always a fear. Okay, next point. Next slide. Managing the anticipatory stress. How to manage it? First, you should recognize that it is a future based, and you should recognize that you will play out as you imagine. It doesn't play as you imagine. Most of the times, what you anticipate is sorry, many things do not happen as you anticipated. So this is the first important thing that you have to keep in mind. For that, you have to use the positive visualization technique. You should visualize that everything will happen, will be positive. Just in the previous session, you had a session on personality development, and I joined at 11 o'clock. I saw there were few slides related with positive attitude. So if you have got a positive attitude, then naturally you will be able to cope up with the stress. Just one thing I recognize or remember here, that you should look at things in a positive manner. One Classic example I would have to share here is, if you see the clock which is not working, जिसको हम कहते हैं बंद हो गई घड़ी, that clock which is not working, which is malfunctioning, then also it will show a correct time twice a day. Say for example, if at 10:30 that clock has stopped working, then it will still show 10:30 in the morning as the correct time and 10:30 in the night as the correct time. So have a positive visualization technique and imagine that this situation is going to be right. The other technique that is to be used is meditation. Now, lots of the things can be talked about meditation, but I am not expert in that. So those who know, mostly everybody is practicing to some or the other extent the meditation. So have that technique of meditation to cope up the anticipatory stress. And the next is fear of failure. By making the contingency plans and analyzing all possible opportunities. To overcome the learn to overcome the fear of failure by making contingency plans and analyzing all the possibility. So always in life, you should, if you have plan A, B, C, then if your plan A fails, then you'll have plan B. If your plan B fails, you'll have plan C. So make alternatives, analyze them, and accordingly take the actions. This can help in sorry. This can help to diminish your fear of failure and give a greater sense of control over the events. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes. How to meditate? I've got one slide. I'll just highlight the points. Sit still, relax, pay attention to nothing, and let the happiness bubble up. So this is how the meditation is going to help in getting the and overcoming the anticipatory stress. Deep breathing technique, that is one of the simplest technique that could be done at any time. If the student is waiting for interview, if the student is waiting for the practical exam or for oral exam, and he's sitting now, next is his number, he will be called. Then at that time, the best thing that he should do is he should sit down, sit still, relax, pay attention to nothing, and just let the happiness bubble up so that he will be able to cope up with the anticipated stress. Okay, next slide, please. Next, situational stress. As the name suggests, you experience situational stress when you are in a scary situation that you have no control over. This could be an emergency. Most commonly, a situation that involves conflict or loss of status or acceptance in the eyes of the group or others. Now, when you say situational stress, as the name suggests, it is because of the situation. Like, I will give you a few examples. When I was a student, I was studied in Sainik School, Satara. I was, I think, in the 9th or 10th class, and the class was going on very smoothly. And suddenly, our co-student, they started shouting. And actually, what had happened, that the girl student was there, and near that bench of the girl student, there was the house lizard. House lizard had come, and that was near her bench, so she started shouting. Now this is how a normal situation is going on, and suddenly something scary comes, and This could be also an emergency. I would like to share one more example. Just few years back, in the evening, myself and my three friends were having an evening walk on the street in Ahmednagar, when I was from Ahmednagar. And suddenly, what happened is, nearer to the footpath in which we were walking, having a walk, suddenly we saw a cobra. And because of that cobra suddenly coming in our way, now there was a panic. So this is how the situational stress may arise. Most commonly, a situational stress involves conflict or loss of status or acceptance in the group. Normally, in educational institutes, I will give that example there because as we are from the educational institute, the situational stress occurs because of the conflict. There is a difference of opinion between the two persons. Like a simple example can be given that a meeting is going on, and in the meeting, if one member blames some other member, and suddenly the meeting is converted into the chaos, and now the situational stress has come. So this is the third type of stress Albrecht has classified as the situational stress. Next, please. Next. Now, how to manage the situational stress? Situational stress often appears suddenly. You may get caught in a situation that you completely failed to anticipate. Like in the teaching profession, one of the example I could give that I was working at Ratnagiri at the time, and one of the student, because of misbehavior, I had asked him to call his parents so that he will be, and I will tell the things what misbehavior he has done to the parents. But now, in a fear that if he will call the parent, then parents will scold him, and he wanted to avoid parents being visiting the polytechnic. Instead, what he did, he called few local gundas, and they came and they started abusing me. Now I was sitting in the principal's chamber, and I was doing my routine work, and suddenly this situation has arisen. Then, because of my previous experience, I just kept quiet, and I wanted the whatever the steam they had to blow off. And then I just asked them that if a student misbehaves, as a teacher, as a principal, or as a fatherly figure, should we not scold him, or is it not our responsibility also to correct him, because it is a tender age in which he may be he may divert from the his aims or goals. And then they realized that whatever the action I had taken was for his good, for the good for the student, and then the situation was subsided. So this is how a situational stress, if arises, then you have to handle it in a proper way. For that, you should have the self-awareness. You should be aware of what you are, what are your capabilities, how to handle the situation. You have to keep calm and know that what the other weaknesses of the other persons, or how the other persons could be handled. The example here given, as we see in the bottom line, a meeting suddenly dissolves in a shouting match between team members. So now the situational stress is going to arise. Naturally, in this case, the as we normally do in our teaching profession, that yes, the meeting is dismissed. We'll conclude the meeting here, and we'll see the how to handle the given situation in a better way. Next point. Next, please. Yes. Again, conflict resolution, that is another important issue, as it was just addressed just now. So it is a difference of opinion between two persons because of their background, because of their experience, and now conflict resolution skills are to be used for managing this particular condition or situation. If the natural response is to get angry and shout, then learn how to manage your emotions. If you think that in a given situation, if somebody makes you angry and you react, so instead of reacting, you should be proactive. You should feel that yes, you are getting angry, and then you should be able to manage your emotions. Like I will share one more experience here. Just 2 years back, one girl student from the hostel from Government Polytechnic Kausari, she had left the hostel and she was demanding the money she had fees which she had deposited with the mess persons. Actually, you know, everywhere that mess is given on contract, and the running the mess or managing the mess is solely the responsibility of the mess manager. But now she was demanding that, sir, you intervene, and I want my whole of the money for this month which I have paid back. I said, okay, I will look into the matter and we'll see that. After 1 hour, one of her relative came to the cabin, principal's cabin, and he started demanding, nothing doing, I want money immediately, this thing, that thing. And then he started abusing, using bad words. Then I said, I came to understand that yes, now what he's doing is he making me angry so that I will react. And on reaction, I will, since he was just a 18, 19-year chap, and I will be angry, I will use bad words, or I may manhandle him, something like that. And then he will make an issue of that and bring me in trouble. Understanding his motive, I said, dear friend, I know what you're doing and what are your intentions. You are making me angry so that I will react. I will do something untoward, and you will be blackmailing me on that particular topic. So I said, I don't want to talk with you. We'll see later. You just please leave. Otherwise, I will go to leave the cabin or chamber. So I could manage my emotions, as it is said, seen in the last line, and the response was different. So if I knew that my natural response was to get angry and shout and use bad words or even manhandling, and now that would have put me in trouble. So I could manage my emotions and handle the situation in that particular manner. So dear friends, those are from teaching field. See that when you are dealing with the students, see that even the student behaves in a different manner, misbehaves rather, then you should keep yourself under control so that you don't create troubles or you don't bring yourself into the trouble. Okay, next please. Next. Yes, fourth type, just one step up. Encounter stress. That is the last type of stress. Encounter stress. Encounter stress revolves around the people. You experience a encounter stress when you worry about interacting with certain person or a group of people you may not like or might think they are impracticable, unpredictable. Now, this is seen particularly with the persons like principal, physicians or doctors, or persons coming in contact, social workers, persons coming in contact with public. And because of that, the encounter stress is there. Here again, I will share my personal experience. I am working as a principal. I have worked as a principal in Government Polytechnic Ahmednagar for 9 years. at Government Polytechnic Ratnagiri for 2 years and Government Polytechnic Ausari for 4 years. So total around 15 years I worked as a principal in a polytechnic. Now there I have seen that when I occupy my chair as a principal, your colleagues, your teachers, they will come to you with problem. Your class 3, class 4 lab assistants, etc., clerks, etc., will come to you with a problem. The students also most of the time will visit the principal chamber with a problem. And now it is a natural phenomenon that you get involved in the problems of the others, your colleagues, your students, your parents, the parents of the students, etc., and you get involved in that. And because of getting involved in that, you also feel the stress, feel the pressure of solving that particular problem. And this is what we call as this type of stress is also called as the contact overload. So those like engineers who are coming in contact with the public, general public, the media people, they have what this type of load, which is called as a contact overload, because they are coming in contact with the common public. Fortunately, we teachers, we come in contact only with the students. So that way, the contact overload is less with the teacher. Maybe as the system varies from college to college, institute to institute, we have got the uh, mentor teacher who will look after those 30 or 40 students. So he will be in touch with the 40 students. Whereas head of the department is in touch with the 6 or 7 lecturers and also the students in the first year, second year, third year, etc. So around 200, 300 people he is in touch. Whereas I have experienced as a principal around 1000 plus students every time in my touch. And because they feel that if I got a problem, if I contact Kerkar sir, then I will get the solution. But now because of such contacts, I have a contact overload, which creates a stress, which we call as an encounter stress. So if you are involved in solving the problems of others, then naturally you will feel the stress, which is called as the contact stress or encounter stress. And when you feel overloaded or overwhelmed or drained for interacting with too many people. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Now, how to manage the encounter stress? Encounter stress can be managed by developing proper emotional intelligence. Now, we know there is one word which is called as the IQ, intelligence quotient. Likewise, you have got another term which is called as the emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize the emotions, wants, and needs of yourself and the others. This is important skill in interacting with others and in building good relationship. So if you know what are the if you know the emotions of yourself, wants and needs of yourself and others, then you will be able to handle the things in a different manner. Know to reach your limits for interaction in the day. Everyone has a different symptoms of encounter stress, but a common one which is withdrawing psychological from the others and working mechanically. Like as we know that in the morning we do the work because we are in a fresh mood. Ours is a prime time. We do our work in a more efficient way. But in the evening, maybe 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, when it is a time to close, naturally at that time, your psychological fatigue is there and you are doing the things in a mechanical manner. Like we teachers, we are experiencing, particularly during the paper assessment, exam paper assessment. The first few papers we do it in a more good enthusiastic manner. But last few days, then we do it mechanically because of the psychological fatigue. So this is how we should know that yes, now you should call it for a day. If you are psychologically exhausted, physically exhausted, then you will not be able to do the work in an efficient manner. So this is the one of the technique that is to be used by managing the encounter stress. You should know where to stop on a given day or for a given time or for a given session. Okay, next please. Next slide please. Yes. In continuation with that, the second part is empathy. Empathy is valuable skill for coping with the type of stress because it allows you to see the situation from others person perspective. Now, in the interaction with proper in with proper way, empathy is very important. Like we teachers, if a student comes to us and he complains, then you should first give a empathetic hearing or listening rather to the student so that he is addressed, his problem is addressed in the proper way. I'll just share one story here by empathetic listening, how I could resolve one critical problem. I was at Government Polytechnic Ahmednagar at that time, working as a principal, and I had a lecture at 10:30 on soft skills for second year civil students. And one first year girl student came to me in a cabin at around 10:20. So I had a 10 minutes time, and I was just preparing for my lecture and taking the notes, duster, chalk, etc. And I was about to leave at 10:15, so that 25 rather, so that I will reach the classroom at 10:30 and start my lecture at 10:30. So I had 5 minutes time before I could address the problem of that student. That student came to me and said, "Sir, I have got one problem. I need your help." Just to motivate her, I said, "Okay, you just go ahead with your problem, dear dear friend. In life, there is no problem which has got no solution. So every problem has got a solution. Please go ahead. What you have, you just tell." Then she was silent for a few seconds. Then she said, "Sir, I want to surrender." Then I didn't actually understood what she wanted to say. Then in Marathi I said, "हे बघ बाळ, तुझं जे काय म्हणणं आहे ते मला समजत नाहीये. So what you are saying, I am not understanding what you are saying by I want to surrender. You please tell me, elaborate in a crisp manner that what you want to say." The next moment she said, "Sir, I want to commit suicide." And I was just shocked because a student is standing in front of you. She was first year student, so her age was just 15 years of age, and saying that, "Sir, I want to commit suicide." I was shocked. I said, "Okay, what is the reason? You tell me the reason, we will find a solution." Then she just kept quiet. Tried to ask her, "Please tell the problem. I will give you a solution." Again said that unless and until you tell the problem, I will not be able to give you the solution. Still, she didn't say anything. Then I could recognize or inculcate in my mind that she is a girl student. After all, I am a male. So naturally, she won't be able to openly tell what her problem is. So I said, "Okay, we'll do one thing. We have got one Kolle madam in civil department. She is expert in counseling the girl students. She had solved the problems of the girls as well as boys. So we'll go to her. You tell her your problem, and we'll see that we'll solve it." Then I took her to Kolle madam, took her appointment time when she is free from lectures and practicals, and asked Kolle madam to guide her so that we will be able to resolve the problem faced by that girl student. Then I will cut short the story. Then at about 2 o'clock, I called Kole madam that what had happened, because it was 10:30 and now it is 2 o'clock. Still for 2.5 hours I was not getting the feedback. So I asked Kole madam, what is the situation? She said, sir, I am coming. I was having lunch. And then she told that the girl student who came to me in my cabin, she was just sitting quietly for more than 1 hour. Then madam said that if you don't tell the problem, you will not get the solution. And then she opened out. She had some personal problem. She said that you should not reveal openly with others. I said, okay, we will not reveal it. So she told her problem, whatever the problem she had. And that particular thing was taking her to the last step, that is committing suicide. Then we could conceal her, Kole madam, myself. We could give her a good counseling, and then she came out. But ultimately, she left the institute. She said, sir, no, sir, I won't be able to study here in diploma. Then I asked her, what you are going to do? She said, sir, I will do 11, 12 after 10th. Then I will do engineering and I will meet you in my life after I become successful. I said, okay, no, nothing doing. Please go ahead. So this is a story about 2011 or 12. During this lockdown, I had an opportunity to interact with that student again. Because of in lockdown, I have written an article on this particular anecdote, and it has been published on mahaedunews.com website. And she came to know that the article has been published by sir, and then she gave the further feedback. The further feedback is, after doing 11th and 12th, she did her engineering in one private engineering college. She was a topper throughout 4 years. She received the best outgoing student award in the line last year. She was successful in finding a job in the campus placement, and she did the job in one of the multinational software companies for 3 years. Now she has left the job to pursue her MPSC, which is likely to be held in February or March. And last week at itself, she got married, and she is now doing successfully. So this particular anecdote I shared at many places in one of the training programs in Yashoda for Polytechnic and Engineering College teachers. I had conducted a session on conflict management, and during that, this particular anecdote was shared, and I am happy to share the feedback given by few teachers. One of the lady teachers from Nagpur Polytechnic, she said, "Sir, till date, I was neglecting to the complaints being given by the girl students. Being a rector of a girls' hostel, I was taking it lightly and neglecting the complaints. But as you are told this particular story, henceforth, right from this day, I assure you that whenever the students approaches me, I will try to solve their problem in a proper way." So it all starts with empathy or empathetic listening. So dear friends, those who are in teaching field, particularly for diploma, the problem is a major problem, because we get students who are after 10th, and that at adolescent age of 16, 17, 18, that is very critical for the students and for we teachers also to handle. Fortunately for diploma pharmacy or degree pharmacy or other engineering college, etc., they get a student who have passed 12th, bit matured, more matured than what we get at after 10th. So I request all the teachers, particularly, see that the problems of the students can be addressed in a proper way, in a proper manner, so that you can save a life. As this is just one example which I have given. I have got around 10 to 12 examples like this, in which I have intervened and I could solve their problems, save the lives through empathetic listening. Okay, next, please. Next slide, please.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
We have only 10 minutes in our hand as we
yes,
have
yes, yes,
to,
yes, yes.
yeah.
Now, yeah. So go to the next slide. We'll be coming to the conclusion.
Okay, okay, sir, no problem.
Yes. Next slide is conclusion. Next. Just skip this because we'll come to the conclusion. Next. Because we are going to share this, so no issue in just. Yes, play it here. If plan A didn't work, the alphabet has 25 letters more. Stay cool. So this is another very good, you can say, signal that can be given to the students. Not to worry. Just I will share one short story within 2 minutes. One of my students from Ratnagiri gave me a feedback. Sir, in our send-off program, you had given shared one line with us. If your plan A fails, don't worry, there are 25 alphabets more. This was, I used that in the interview and I got selected because of that particular one word only. I was asked, what is your plan? He said, my plan A is to join your company. Then he said, if your plan A fails, then he said, sir, I got plan B as well as plan C. If your plan C fails, sir, I got 23 alphabets more. And he was selected. He said that because of only this particular attitude, I could get selected in the company. Okay, next please. Next slide, please. Yes. Our goal is not to eliminate the stress, but to learn how to manage the stress and use it to help us. So if you are able to manage the stress, then you will be doing the work with a efficiency. If there is no stress, zero stress, then as we have seen in the curve, that you will not be working efficiently. Your performance will be low. But if there is some stress, then naturally your performance will be very high. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes, managing stress. Become aware of your stressors and emotional and physical reactions. Recognize what you can change, because normally we divert our energy to the things we cannot change and we get a frustration. You should recognize what you can change or what you cannot change. Reduce the intensity of emotional reactions to the stress. Don't get attached to each and everything. Try to remain as uh, detached from the things which will cause the stress. Learn to moderate your physical reactions to the stress. Normally, as you see, because you get angry, it starts with the words and then it goes to the physical manhandling. So you should try to moderate your physical reactions to the stress. Build your physical reserves. If you are physically and mentally stable, then you will be able to cope up with the stress. Maintain your emotional reserves. With simple things, you should not get disturbed. You should not be touchy. That something happens and your mood is off. So try to curb that. Learn to respond and not react. Normally, people react, and in reaction, you are not thinking about the ultimate result. But when you respond, you think what is the best possible way to do that at that particular point of time. Next, next, please. Work smarter, not harder. Carry reading material with you so that you can use the time for reading the things. And better the reader you are, better will be the person you. Accept that time will be spent on activities outside your control. Don't dwell upon the things not done. So if you dwell upon the things which are not done, naturally you will be unnecessarily creating stress for yourself. Record daily activities, achievements, goals, source of delay, and time wasters to realize your hidden opportunities. Writing daily diary and taking a review of what you have done throughout the day. Naturally, these activities will be useful for you for uh, stopping or for curtailing the wastage of time and energy on, and you will be knowing that what are the hidden opportunities that may be available. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes. Always maintain a short task list. Continually ask yourself, what is the best use of my right time? Be physically active to relieve tension. Make quick decisions. Carefully mix work and breaks. Have a positive attitude and relax. So if you follow these tips, then you will be able to handle the stress in a better manner. Next, please. Next slide, please. So stress management you can do by proper time management with the help of music, by sharing your feelings, by laughing, with moderate exercise, proper sleep, meditation, yoga, and using the nature. As you know, if you go for the outings, weekend moves in the nature, then naturally you will be getting the stress properly managed. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes, lead a happy life through proper stress management. Next. Okay, just keep it. Next, go next. 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 Okay, next. Yes, this is one of the best book which I have read on the stress management related with how to stop worrying and start living, Dale Carnegie. There are around 40 stories which have been given, and they give you that how you should stop worrying and start living. So if you read this particular book for yourself, it will help you for in managing your stress appropriately. Next slide, please. Learn how to attain peace of mind, better health, and lead a stress-free life. So peace of mind, learn how to attain peace of mind, better health, and lead stress-free life. Okay, mostly last slide is there. Next. Okay, next slide, please. Yes. Health and wealth. Health can get wealth. Wealth cannot get health. So be healthy. Keep yourself healthy, stress free, and you manage your stress properly so that you will be leading a healthy life. Next. Yes. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much. So this is what I had intended to share with you on the stress management. Already the PPT has been shared. So Yes, anything?
Okay, to summarize the lecture on stress management, Sir has nicely explained facts of life on happiness, concept of stress. He has explained stress curve, performance versus stress level. Also, root causes of stress, different pictorial examples on perception, different types of stresses by Albrecht, and management of different kinds of stresses, as well as role of meditation in the management of stress. So I request participant, if you have question, you can ask to sir. Any question from participant side? I hope there are no questions for this session of stress
Yes.
management. So I request all the participants, now we'll go for lunch session, and after that we will gather again at 2 p.m. for the third session of the Atal FDP.
Thank you,
So
sir.
thank
Okay.
you so
Okay.
much. We will
Thank you.
meet at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much.